Don't lose.
Family! I never saw myself coaching, even if there was this undeniable urge to blend my love for basketball and youth development and my love of editing and video broadcasting. I always had a passion for the game, and in some of my darkest moments, the game was there to hold me in place. Creating videos is no different. As long as I can remember, there were two things ever present in my life: my Spalding outdoor ball and my hand-me-down digital camera. I wasn't a phenom. I didn't even play organized ball until I was in high school. I didn't have this hero's journey to my current destination in life. Like a lot of my guys that I've coached throughout these 6 years, and it seems like such a long time when I say it, but like a lot of these guys, I grew up in the forgotten pocket of America. My family moved around pretty much constantly in my youth, and the area we settled in, Lawrenceville, Georgia, isn't exactly a hotbed for athletic talent, or any talent for that matter. I graduated from the Central District of Lawrenceville, which is considered as the worst part of Gwinnett. Now, I'm not saying it's a war zone, but it's a fact. The ghetto is everywhere. And even with some of my guys that live in better neighborhoods, it's still hood adjacent. And it's only getting worse. Lawrenceville, like a lot of transitional cities in America, suffers from a negligence problem. It's ingrained into these cultures to only care for the truly exceptional, while the rest of us, the Joes and the Sallys of the world, have to literally fight for slivers of life pie without a true guarantee that we'll be able to enjoy it. For these young men, it's a cycle. You wake up in a neighborhood that's underfunded, cookie cutter or plain, get on an underfunded bus, ride to an underfunded school, deal with adults that may have been victims to the cycles themselves, come back to the same underfunded or plain neighborhoods and deal with life's inequities before you even have a chance to dream. These kids, like millions of young, beautiful minds that make a proportion of our country's population, are more than often not forgotten and still expected to exceed expectations bestowed upon them. They are lost, essentially. Hence the title of the series, The Lost Boys. I have 11 guys: Tyrese Brown Walton, Isaiah Hickson, CJ Walker, Wilfred Vargas, JC Montez, Isaac Minot, Jate Smith, Borobari Capella, Jason McDaniel, Brandon Smith, and Peter Evans. Out of all my 11, I have 3 seniors: CJ, Wilfred, and Isaiah. It's a wild bunch, full of personalities and talent, but I love them the same. A common pattern I found is that out of the 11 guys that I have, maybe a quarter of them have their fathers or some sort of positive male role models in their lives. Now, shout out to the mothers of the world, but I can speak for myself as a young black man who didn't have the best examples around growing up. I can vouch that just having mentors, teachers, coaches, anybody to hold you accountable as a man, that does wonders for you in the future. I think about my mentors and how they helped shape me, and how after their tutelage I came to work for them off of the simple merit that I believed in what they were doing, and I can still continue to do so. The issue is, like I stated before, that unless you're a sponsored program full of ranked kids or living in an affluent area, chances are your experiences are going to be very limited. There was a time period where recreational basketball leagues, church leagues, summer leagues, and outdoor leagues were all over the place. It gave kids who may not have had a ton of money or access to resources the opportunity to experience what it was like playing for an actual sports team. And there wasn't this massive gap between the leagues. Scouts attended all of these leagues too, and the goal of these programs was youth development on and off the court. Once AAU became king and high school started incorporating college methods for athletes in bigger schools, all the rest of the leagues took a nosedive, and recreational leagues are kind of seen as a joke in American culture now. But if you ask me, that's the key difference between European players in our country. Development takes precedent over flash and appeal. The rec ball design was taken by Europeans and maximized, where if you want to play basketball, there's thousands of teams and leagues that cater to training and practice. And less so on playing 3 or 4 games in one day and practicing once a month. I believe if we dedicated the same amount of time to all our leagues as opposed to the ones that generated revenue, the talent pool in this country could skyrocket. We may see other areas of society improve by this inclusion, such as crime rate in inner cities. We expect these young men to be great, yet we show them nothing that could assuage this inclination. Why? Well, that's where I come in. I took this position as a head coach because I wanted to invoke change. I've been a member of this community for over 15 years, and I love it with a special part of my soul. I felt like the best way to show my love was to give back and inspire, and the best way I know how to do that is through this game. Basketball saved my life. It gave me a home, somewhere to belong. And I want that same thing for my guys. Honestly, I believe that's imperative in growth of anybody. We're tribal by nature, and that old proverb has merit. It truly takes a village to raise a child. My goal is to create that village for what I considered as lost boys, young men casted aside by society before they are even given a chance to make a significant mark. Our season began in late November. It's the same thing every single year. Chaos, late registrations, uniform mix-ups, and fighting for a secure schedule. The week of December 10th was our first game, and I can say that we have a lot of potential as a unit. Our first game was against Parkview, headed by Coach Jawani, a good friend of mine. They were a scrappy team, but once we pulled away, we kept the run alive, and we ended up winning 23-54. Wilfred Vargas was the player of the game with 8 points and 15 rebounds. We had another game that same day at 4 p.m. against Collins Hill, headed by Coach Bierman.
Certified. Y'all know I'm not getting the game right now.
Get the game.
You know what I'm saying? After the game.
Hey, Shane. Oh, God, yeah.
Now, this is where the challenges started. It was back and forth the entire game, and my guys were shooting pretty well from the rim this game. The crash started when we started to lose our composure, partially from bad officiating, partially from scheduling issues that caused us to be late to the game. I want to say we were about maybe about 20, 30 minutes late to the game. We didn't even get to warm up. When you're dealing with young guys with very little guidance, you have to deal with the lack of emotional control. For some of these guys, they've never played organized ball before in their life, so they're brand new to how bad officiating can truly get. It takes discipline to play through these patches, and that's something we're still developing. Collins Hill attacked the basket almost all game, and they were a constant presence at the line.
Welcome to Ace Rodney, Times from Superstar. Once again, incredible.
We ran the fast break effectively, especially in the fourth, but we couldn't outlast the perimeter shooting, and we lost 29-20 after the ref called the game after a scuffle between Tyrese and Collins Hill's power forward, ending the weekend 1-1. They're so young, so I expect them to still be mastering their emotions, as I'm still mastering mine as a young coach. One thing I can say about these 11, they're going to play hard. They may wear their emotions on their sleeves from time to time, but they're hungry, and all they want to do is win. We got some work to do, mainly on organizing our offense and developing awareness on defense, but hand to God and my late grandfather, Ralph Eason, there's no place I'd rather be. We are the Lost Boys, and this is our story.